Hey everybody, it's Nicole here. First of all, excuse my appearance. Literally just got out of the shower. Didn't feel like putting makeup on yet, and haven't done my hair. So, yeah. Anyways, I am here with another Red Band Society episode recap. It is episode 8. Super awesome, crazy things going on. So, as we know from last episode, Charlie woke up. He cannot speak or move, but he can blink and is responsive. In the beginning of the episode, we see him blinking to answer questions, yes or no questions, and everyone's like, yeah, Charlie's awake. So it's a huge celebration, and all the other Red Banders come in, and they're like, Charlie, yeah, this is awesome, Charlie. And Kara, while she is just with them, she notices that Hunter is chilling outside, and he kind of looks like he's about to cry, which we know for Hunter is not normal. So she's kind of noticing that, a good thing to keep in mind. And then there is, again, talk of Dr. Naday, this world-renowned doctor who deals with these kind of patients, coming to see Charlie and help fix his case. So there's talk of that, and, as they're all looking at Charlie, Dr. Naday shows up. He looks like a hippie that just maybe got off a bus from a big band thing. So everyone's kind of like, "You're Dr. Naday? Oh, welcome!" And they're excited, but they're also like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Let's begin." And so they're definitely in for something. But so the Red Banders are like, "We need to come up with something, like let's find a way to give Charlie something cool to look at, so that his brain will get stimulated more and he'll be able to talk to us." So of course the boys are like, "Boobs, gotta go with the boobs." And Emma's like, "That's great, guys. How about like a mobile?" Because he has those little origami creatures that his dad makes for him. So they're like, "Oh, we can make him some and hang it above so he can have something to look at." And they're like, "Oh," and then Jordy brings up the idea of like a therapy pet. So they're like, "Oh, maybe we could get a dog for him." So they take Jordy's car, which was given to him by that crazy old guy from a couple episodes back, that I forget his name as usual. So they go out and they're like, "Let's go do this. We're gonna do this." And meanwhile, Kara is trying to talk to Hunter, and she's about to talk to him when this like older beautiful woman kind of walks in and starts talking to him. He gets super excited, and she's like, crap. And she thinks it's the older girlfriend, and she's kind of like, "Excuse you?" And she's like, she's angry and frustrated and jealous. So she ends up talking to Nurse Brittany, and Brittany's kind of like, "Ooh, let's be mindful, and then maybe it'll work, and they won't be together, and you can be with him." Which is unusual because Brittany's so perky happy, but I think since she's been seeing Dr. McAndrew and his old ex-flame, our new chief of staff, kind of getting together a little bit, and she's kind of like, "Yeah, let's plot things." So they go off and they try to be mindful. Um, Meanwhile, the gang is out. They park the car, and they're like, "Oh, let's go get stuff." So Jordy and those guys go and they look in the craft store, and then Leo comes back with food. And of course, nobody knows that Emma, kind of ate a cookie in the last episode. So he's like, "Oh, these are the flaming hot like Cheeto things or whatever." And he takes one and he's like, "Here, Emma, you gotta try it." And everyone's kind of like, "Oh, you gave food to the anorexic girl." And she's like, "No, no, it's cool." And she like eats one of it, and she just keeps staring, and like all the little particles, the dust from the cheese is all over her fingers. And everyone's like, "Oh wow, okay, that's awesome." And she's still like, "Oh god." It's very terrifying for her. And again, it's more issues that we just don't know about with her, with anorexia, and I think it's interesting how the show is dealing with it. I wouldn't know how to portray it on the show, to be honest, so kudos to them. So we noticed, again, that Emma's not exactly happy with the fact that she ate it, and just seeing the left behind residue on her fingers just kind of reminds her, "You ate." So, but they go, and, they're like trying to go get the crafts, and then they go get some food, and then they're going to the pet store, and they decide to buy an iguana, and then they're like, "Oh, let's go to the strip club and get Charlie a stripper." Sure. Back at the hospital, Dr. Naday basically just seems like he's playing guitar to Charlie, and Dad's kind of like, "Yeah, sure." Dad's not getting it, and the two of them are just playing guitar, and Mom's kind of like, are we gonna do anything to like fix Charlie? And then meanwhile, Dr. McAndrew's like, hey, I have his test results, and Dr. Nadee's like, that's great. And it's very frustrating for the doctors because they're all like, are we gonna do anything medical? Are you just gonna play guitar all day? And that's kind of angering them. So, of course, Nurse Jackson and the chief of staff are trying to defend their choices, and it's not going so well. Meanwhile, Brittany and Kara are doing kind of like yoga, and meanwhile they see Hunter getting into a fight with a woman, and they're like, what is going on? What is going on? And they're getting all excited, and, you know, she kind of walks off, and they're like, oh. And Brittany's like, okay, I'm going to leave you alone now. You can go forth. And Kara's like, what? Oh, crap, how do I do this? So Kara is hanging out, and the woman comes to her, and she's like, I'm not going to help you, and I'm not going to, and she starts getting all these weird ideas in her head, and she's like, but I won't do that to help you. And she's like, I'm his sister. And then Kara, of course, is like, oh. So it's definitely an awkward moment, and they head off, and they go talk, and, you know, Hunter's sister explains she wants to donate her liver to him. She wants to help him, and he won't accept it, and it's frustrating, of course, because all you want to do is help your family get better, and when they reject that, you know, it's just, she can't understand it. So she asks for Kara to help and talk to Hunter because she's like, he's mentioned you, you know, and of course Kara's like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, no, I'll definitely try. Because, of course, in everyone else's mind, it's like, if someone's offering you their organ and you need the organ, take the damn organ. So she can't comprehend what's going on with Hunter, so she sets off to go talk to him. And, you know, the sister mentions, oh, I didn't think he was your type. You know, he usually goes for skater chicks. So this leads her to crash Dash's room, basically, and start putting together a new wardrobe and taking his skateboard. Meanwhile, the guys go to the strip club, and they're kind of like, hey, can we get a stripper? And they have no success at all getting into the strip club, unfortunately. And then so they're like, crap, all right, fine, whatever. Meanwhile, also at this time, Leo is having a hard time walking on his leg. His prosthetic is hurting him again. But so they go to meet with Emma, and they all buy hot dogs, and they're like, okay, well, we need to come up with a new plan, or let's head back. And then they turn, and of course, you know, Jordy's car is being towed away, and they're all like, oh, crap. So they're trying to get that, and they don't get the car. And Emma takes this chance. She was given a hot dog by Leo, and of course, you know, she's still got the cheese dust on her fingers, so Leo and the guys are turned away, and she ends up throwing the hot dog out completely. Also at this time, she finds a bathroom because, you know, again, the Cheeto dust has been freaking her out, and she finally manages to scrub it off, but you can see it almost turns into, like, an obsessive scrubbing the way she's washing her hands. If you've ever seen anything on, like, an OCD kind of scale, it kind of looks almost like that, the way she just keeps going and going and going, even though it's not there anymore, which is also probably part of the anorexia and what it's doing to her mentally as well as physically. So then, of course, the car gets towed, and they realize that they only have enough money now for 2 people to take the bus home, and they decide that, you know, Jordy's feeling fine, Emma's, you know, she's fine, but Leo's prosthetic's kind of killing him, and then Dash, of course, with his lungs, he's still not 100%, so those 2 take the bus, and Jordy and Emma have a long, awkward walk home, and Jordy's like, are you mad at me? I feel like you're mad. And Emma's like, no, I'm not mad, and Jordy's like, okay, and she's like, well, what gives you that idea? And Jordy's kind of like, oh, I don't know. I have no idea. And so it's very awkward, and Emma's kind of, I think, coming unhinged a little bit with the amount of food that she's been eating. We have to remember this is a lot for her. She usually fakes eating, and the fact that she's had a Cheeto and a cookie within a short amount of, you know, time, I think it's too much for her, even though to us it would be like, psh, that's nothing, give me some more. So they start their walk back. Meanwhile, Kara puts on the skater girl look, and she tries to skate to Hunter, and she's like talking to him, and he's like, you making fun of me? What, did my sister talk about Edith with you? We don't know who Edith is. We don't learn who Edith is. Not really sure. So he gets upset, and she's like, oh, crap, okay, messed up again. Meanwhile, everyone's getting frustrated again with Dr. Nadee. They want answers, and nothing's happening. And so, you know, Dr. McAndrews gets upset, and Nurse Jackson's starting to get frustrated. Everyone's frustrated, and Dr. Nadee is just like, whatever. Emma and Jordy finally come home, and Leo tries to talk to Emma, and Emma's like, oh, I'm good, I need to lay down, I'm tired, and Leo's like, oh, okay. And so Emma's just kind of freaking out in her room, and Nurse Brittany's like, okay, here's your food for tonight, and she's like, I'm not hungry, I want to be left alone, and Brittany's like, okay, but you need to eat your weigh-ins tomorrow. And, you know, Nurse Brittany leaves, and Emma, literally, in the most unhinged we've ever seen her, just takes the food and just whips it at the door, and she throws everything, and she kind of breaks down, and nobody's there to see it, and then, you know, she's just kind of staring. Nurse Jackson finally comes clean Dr. Naday and is like, what are you doing? And Dr. Naday shows, you know, that Charlie's parents are together, and, like, what he's doing is giving them hope. And by giving them hope, it's making Charlie, you know, want to get better. And so Nurse Jackson finally is kind of like, okay, fine, given, you can stay a little bit longer. And, of course, he's ecstatic. The guys get pizza for Charlie, and they have pizza, and they're just kind of talking to him. Hunter explains to Kara, you know, she comes to talk to him, and he explains to her basically that he had a little brother who was in a coma and never woke up. Explains Charlie and his reaction to that, and just why he doesn't want to lose any more people, and it would rather be his gamble. He doesn't want to put anyone else in that situation, so it's very commendable. Sorry, I'm rushing, so this doesn't cut me off. So then Kara ends up talking to the sister and is basically like, we want to have choices, we want to be sick on our terms. I can't, you know, do this for him. He has to make his own choice, and, you know, she explains that to the sister. And Hunter, you know, is hearing all of this, and he later finds Kara, and they finally make out, which we've all been waiting for, because we know that, you know, they're going to make out. They love each other, secretly. We see the final scene is basically Emma just picking up the food and putting it back together, and we're reminded again that she's very tightly wound, and, you know, I think this is a big change for her, putting everything back in its exact order, where it needs to go on the plates. It's just very, again, typical type A Emma. So I think that's everything I covered. I'm going to cut this video off so it doesn't cut me off and not let it post it again. Another episode tonight coming soon. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, because that's also coming up tomorrow. Happy holidays. Hope to get you some more videos out maybe today. Hopefully, if not, definitely early next week. Thank you as always for watching, and have a great day, guys. Bye.